Attention Northwest Arkansas businesses and talent seekers. Introducing OnboardNWA.com, your hyperlocal job board crafted for our unique community. Struggling to find the perfect match for your job openings? Onboard NWA simplifies the hiring process, connecting you with the region's top talent through tailored talent matching solutions. Whether you're an employer seeking expertise or a professional looking for your next opportunity, Onboard NWA is here for you. Discover more at onboardnwa.com, and let's build the future of Northwest Arkansas together.
Support for this episode comes from Signature Bank of Arkansas. Founded here in Northwest Arkansas in 2005, Signature Bank of Arkansas is a full-service bank offering traditional checking and savings accounts, investment accounts, business and personal loans, and mortgages. When you bank with a community bank, you're investing in local businesses, local entrepreneurs, local charities, and the causes that are close to home. Signature Bank has worked hard to earn its tagline, community banking at its best. Give the folks at Signature Bank a call today at 479-684-4700 or visit their website, signature.bank, and let them know you heard about them here first on the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. Signature Bank of Arkansas is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
It's time for another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, the podcast covering the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life in general here in the Ozarks. Whether you are considering a move to this area or trying to learn more about the place you call home, we've got something special for you. Without further ado, here's our fearless host, Randy Wilburn.
Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, where we cover the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life here in the Ozarks. And this is a special shortened edition of the podcast today. We don't have a guest. It's just me. I'm talking for a few minutes. I just want to share a couple of thoughts with you and just say thank you to all of you amazing listeners. I want to say thank you to all the amazing guests that we've had on the podcast and everyone that has encouraged me over the last few years to continue to press record and continue to do this podcast on a regular basis. And, you know, I've always thought about doing end of year programs and what to do, whether to just share clips of some of the best episodes. And that was one idea. And actually what we're going to do is next week we will do an episode where we are going to sit down and do a reflection on 2021 and as we prepare for 2022, and I'm going to have some special guests on the podcast with me. So this will be a hosted episode with a couple of really extra cool people that are going to join me to sit down to talk for about 30 or 45 minutes or something like that, just to discuss the year in review, if you will. And we're going to talk a little bit about everything, new business in Northwest Arkansas, new restaurants, new things to do here in Northwest Arkansas, and how everyone is dealing with the pandemic in all of its iterations and forms, including Omicron. Oh my God, Omicron. Yeah, that's like as if we didn't need anything else, right? Now we have Omicron to deal with. And so, which is a variant of the COVID-19 and pandemic. And it's just, it's just crazy, everything that's going on right now. But, I tell you, I have hope for, a really good 2022, and I'm excited for what is going to happen. And so I really want to encourage you guys to be excited as well. And so first off, I guess I want to just give a shout out to all the wonderful guests that we've had on the podcast. Over the past year, we've had some amazing people on, but I specifically want to say thank you to the folks at Skills Lab Training. We talked in episode 109 about how they're preparing the next generation for employment success here in Northwest Arkansas. That's they have a program and a mission that is near and dear to my heart, which is to prepare the next generation to be the best version of themselves in any form of work that they choose to do. And I think that Skills Lab training is going to be tremendously successful in 2022 and all the work that they do. We also sat down with Wes Craiglow. Wes is the head of the Urban Land Institute here in Northwest Arkansas. And a lot of people reach out to me asking about, what are the plans for Northwest Arkansas? I actually get a lot of emails from people outside of the state that are thinking about moving here, and they ask about home prices. They ask about where to live and all this other good stuff. And so I thought it would be interesting to talk with somebody that has their finger on the pulse. And Wes Craiglow definitely does that. The Urban Land Institute, that was episode 121. Highly recommend that you check that out. But we talked a little bit about everything, about infill, about higher density living spaces. There's just a lot of really interesting topics that we talked about transportation and all the things that play into how this area is going to continue to evolve. They're saying that we're going to be almost 1 million people by 2045. That's less than 25 years from now. So it will be interesting to see how this all pans out, right? In 25 years, I will be, I'll be 77. So I'll be up there. I don't know how old you'll be, but I'll be up there. And so I'm excited to see what happens next and how these things pan out for Northwest Arkansas and for the next generations to come and what they will experience when they live here, if they're born here. It's going to be exciting, to say the least. In episode 122, we sat down with the folks from Pedal It Forward NWA. We've had a number of bike themed podcasts on because this area is a bike community. It's a very strong, vibrant bike community. When I think of Bike NWA, when I think of Bike POC, all the other different programs that are out there. I mean, I love riding my bike on the Greenway on a regular basis. And so, a group like Pedal It Forward and all the great things that they're doing to provide as many free bikes as they can to those that are less fortunate than others and that maybe can't go out and afford to buy a bike. Even at Walmart, they are able to go to Pedal It Forward and get a bike for themselves. And so I encourage you to check them out. Also want to give another shout out to Damara Baker, who is the owner of Rockin' Baker. She actually is the former owner of Rockin' Baker. I think she has actually sold the bakery to her employees. And I think it's an amazing story of how she trained these folks up and then ultimately gave them an opportunity to take over the company and run it for themselves. And you talk about a social entrepreneur that really understands this whole process. Damara Baker is that person. So that's episode 139. I would highly recommend that you check that out as well. Another episode that I really enjoyed was the episode that I had with Rishi Mittal. And Rishi is the head of Mycelium, and Mycelium deploys wireless communication networks throughout the this area and beyond. And they do it on the blockchain, and they use a cryptocurrency called Helium. I think cryptocurrency is going to be a huge topic in 2022. I mean, it already is. I mean, we all know about Bitcoin. We all know about Ethereum. We all know about the blockchain. Or at least we know a little bit about it. We also know about non-fungible tokens, or NFTs. And so people are now selling art as NFTs. And so there's a lot of opportunities there. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that in 2022, if you don't take the time to learn about NFTs and the blockchain and cryptocurrency, you're going to be so far behind. I don't know where things are going to stand. I don't know what our economy is going to do, but I think it's going to be interesting for you and for us to learn more about NFTs. And so you heard it here first. I'm going to talk more about them in the upcoming episodes. And if I find people that are here locally that can speak intelligently about non-fungible tokens, about cryptocurrencies and the blockchain and how it's going to affect our everyday life, I will bring them on the podcast because I think it would be interesting to hear their version of things. And then also how it plays into what we do in our everyday life here in Northwest Arkansas. So stay tuned for that. Finally, I had a conversation with Jeremy Tran from I Am Gastronome. And Jeremy is a good friend of mine. And this dude really has an eye for food, not just eating it, but taking pictures of it, taking video. He has put a lot of restaurants here locally in Northwest Arkansas on the map. And so I've enjoyed partnering up with him and people like Jaranelli Toms and others here in Northwest Arkansas to learn more about the food scene, the restaurant scene, all the great things that people enjoy when they go out to eat and have a good meal. And so would highly recommend that you check out episode 146 of the podcast that I did with I Am Gastronome's Jeremy Tran. And we're going to do more stuff with Jeremy in the future. He's a bright young man with a lot of potential, and the sky is the limit for him. So I can't wait to watch his shooting star continue to go up, up, and up. But so anyway, that's just really what I wanted to share about some of the episodes that we've had on. I want to keep it short. It's the holiday season. I was kind of contemplating whether I was going to do an episode or not, but I decided to do one just because I think I want to continue to go each week with a new episode. And some episodes are, every episode's not perfect. Some episodes are going to be better than others, but this is just more of a reflection episode. And I'm not going to tell a bunch of stories today, but I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts with you. And, I'm a little under the weather, but it is what it is. So finally, I'm going to give a shout out to the Northwest Arkansas Council, to Rob Smith and Nate Green over there for putting on the Onward Ozarks program. The Onward Ozarks program is a 4 times a year program that we've done this past year in 2021, where we covered a bunch of topics about Northwest Arkansas that would be relevant for businesses. And we covered the expansion at X&A. We covered how to deal with public relations and the press. We covered the COVID-19 pandemic and the outbreaks. We also talked about getting booster shots and just overall how the virus was impacting Northwest Arkansas and all of Arkansas for that matter. We had a bunch of medical doctors on. And then finally, we just did an episode on businesses and recycling and what that looks like and how you can get a free recycling audit for your business, both in Benton and Washington counties. And that information is available on the NWA Council website at nwacouncil.org. You can check that out there to learn more about Onward Ozarks. And there will be new programs in 2022. I've got good ideas about some programs that we're going to do, and I'm working with Rob Smith and several of the other leadership there at NWA Council to see what's happening and to see what we can cover in the future that would be relevant and something that you'd be interested in hearing about. So the other thing is I want to give a shout out to Kyle Kellums for having me on Ozarks at Large. That was a great opportunity to be on NPR, to be on the local NPR channel and kind of tell my story. It's a really interesting episode that we did. I'll try to put the link to it in the show notes. And then finally, I really want to thank my wife and kids, Nicola and the boys, Joshua, Nathan, and Aiden, for just being the wind beneath my wings and continuing to encourage me on a regular basis. I'm so thankful for all of the opportunities that this podcast has allowed and afforded me. And I don't take it lightly. And I appreciate each and every one of you for listening to what I have to share. And I'm only going to continue to get better and improve as time goes on. So 2022 is going to be a good year. And I hope you stay tuned. I hope you check it out on a regular basis. And just remember that no matter what, rain or shine, we come out every Monday with a new episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. And we've got some new things happening in 2022. Just a teaser. Not going to tell you what they are right now, but you've got to stay tuned. You've got to listen out. Tune in and check us out on Instagram at I Am Northwest Arkansas. And of course on Facebook. You can follow us on LinkedIn at I Am Northwest Arkansas. You can follow us whatever platform it works for you. You can check out I Am Northwest Arkansas and stay on top of all the things that we're doing. But anyway, that's all I have for you. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Christmas is coming up at the end of this week. And so many people are going to be celebrating that and so many other holiday seasons. And then, of course, we've got New Year's coming up. I can't believe 2022 is just around the corner. So I want to encourage you to be safe, be careful, be healthy. And we appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. We'll be right back here with another episode next Monday. Take care. Bye for now. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. Check us out each and every week, available anywhere that great podcasts can be found. For show notes and more information on becoming a guest or sponsor, visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. We'll see you next week on I Am Northwest Arkansas.